You know, when your wife has that baby, you can thank this woman for paying parental leave. And we'll increase it when we get it. That's the nature of internet mana. You know, last Tuesday I was a private citizen. And then I got the call from Harawena's office saying, hey, we would like you to be a candidate for us, and we think you would be great. I said, oh God, I better sleep on that one. And the next day I went into Hone's office, that's Wednesday a week ago, and we had a bit of a yarn, and I decided to bite the bullet. I'd spent 7.5, nearly 8 years in Parliament in the Helen Clark Labour-led government from 1999 to 2007 was my term in Parliament, or time in Parliament, representing the fantastic electorate of Wairarapa and a general seat. And I had spent 2 terms before that, from 1995 being the Mayor of Carterton, a name you probably recognise because of some rather horrible accident that occurred not that long ago, the balloon tragedy that we know about. And good on Mark, the current Mayor of Carterton, for upping our people over there. And I'm sure we will feel for those people for what's happened over there. But I left Parliament in 2007 because I was quite frustrated. I was not going to be offered any kind of promotion. I had been proud to be involved in a few pieces of quite controversial pieces of legislation, namely the Civil Union Act in the early 2000s, which now, of course, has become the Marriage Equality Act, and that's what we wanted in the first place. Thank you, Ms. Beyer, for waking up. Thank you, Ms. Beyer, for being a wonderful people not the old, crusty conservatives that people would think that you should be. The other piece of legislation you still might not be terribly happy with me about, but it was about human rights, health and safety in the workplace, and about people having to look in the mirror sometimes about some unpleasantness that you don't want to know about, but has existed for time immemorial, and that was the Prostitution Reform Act. And I have to say, 10 years down the track from that, the sky hasn't fallen in. We've prosecuted quite a few people through it, and we have protected many who find that they have to work in that industry. Why do people find that they have to work in that industry? Mainly because they have been marginalised from society, dispossessed from society, and suffering from a number of ills and ailments and disconnection that force them, usually unwillingly, into an arena like that, on the fringe of the twilight world, living in that murky area. And in days gone by, when we, the rest of society, would turn a blind eye to all of that, a lot of heinous human rights abuses occurred in there, and that's why we had to develop something that was world-leading and change what was happening. And actually, we needed to bring it out into the light, because there's nothing like the disinfectant of daylight on an industry like that to diminish the power of the criminal elements that thrive in it and exploit the people who find themselves working in it. So I'm glad that I've had a role in some of those changes to our society. Again, I thank New Zealanders for being open. Angeline has outlined quite explicitly the major points of the mana movement. We do represent those who are the poor, the dispossessed, the disenfranchised. Now, you know what? I've virtually resignation. I said, you can't do that. I only want to practice democracy, and so far as it doesn't interfere with the work I'm doing for you, you shouldn't be able to do anything. 90-day trial. 90-day trial. And there was no comeback. We've got to get rid of stuff like that. Because how many people, young people, might get exploited right towards this world? Hundreds, if not thousands, who have lost their jobs under this national-led government over the last 6 years are in my age group, the middle age group, who cannot necessarily go back and find the good paying jobs once they've lost the ones they've spent years, perhaps decades working up to, and then they get the flick. And they're thrown out onto the scrap heap, and their soul is destroyed because they're not used to this. And then to have to confront the winds of this. When I walked into the Winds office in 2010 in Masterton, the last time I had been there, I had escorted the Prime Minister to visit the facility while I was the local member of Parliament. Can you imagine how humiliating it was for me to walk into that office? Oh, Georgina, how lovely to see you. Oh, have you come to, what can we do for you? I've come to register unemployed. There was a stony silence. And then one of the unusual things that they don't really do these days, they whisked me into a private office to talk about my situation. That doesn't normally happen to ordinary folk who go in there and sign up. You sit in a room with 20 or 30 other people and caseworkers sitting at their computer screens, and you and your fellow clients who are going in there to sign up, pouring out your private grief over your situation in front of everybody. It is dehumanizing. We have got to change this attitude. Internet mana is about uplifting people, restoring their mana, not ripping it apart. So in conclusion, I ask you to give strong consideration when you vote on the 20th of September to supporting this new engine of political power that is rolling through the country called the Internet Mana Party. Think about it, read our policies, watch us as we go on and as we develop. And by all means communicate with us. Good God, we've got the king of internet here. He's going to give us access to it all. And we deserve it. When you're on the benefit, one of the lowest priorities as far as spending the meagre amount of money that you might receive is the internet and access to it. And as such, you become utterly disconnected from what everybody else is enjoying. And that's not right. You've already heard this evening that Internet Party, one of their